Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I am back with another video. All right, y'all, back with another one. Back with some interesting news here. Looks like Joanna is looking to get back in action this year. She's ready, and she's looking to target a rematch with her rival, none other than Zhang Weili, sometime early this year. So first off, I gotta say shout out to Joanna. I'm glad she's finally seeing the light, that she's not entitled to a title shot every single fight. You know, she's got to go back to the drawing board, especially with almost 2 years out the game. You got to go back in there and fight a non-title fight. So I'm glad she's finally coming down to it and saying, okay, look, I'll fight Zhang Weili if I have to for that #1 spot, right? And she talked about this in a recent interview. But the one thing that caught my eye in this recent interview is that she said Dana White actually offered her a title shot. In late November or December of 2022. He told her that if she could wait, she could get a title shot in November or December of this year. So let me pull up this interview here. Shout out to WMMA Rankings, because they've been pretty much on it. They've been pretty consistent, you know, posting anything, everything WMMA, you know, all the other organizations as well. This is what Joanna had to say. Everyone thinks I'm not in the UFC anymore. I just dropped out of the ranking because I haven't fought for a dozen months or so. But I'm coming back and I'm fighting #1. It'll probably be Zhang Weili. I thought it might be Carla Esparza, but it's already confirmed that she's next for the championship. Marina is lined up to fight Yan Xiaonan, so that leaves Zhang Weili. I don't see any other fight but just going for the belt. Dana White, he offered me a fight for the championship, but I would have to wait until November/December, and I don't want to wait. I want to fight. So going back, you know, she let everybody know, look, she's still signed with the UFC. You know, she still has another fight under her contract. You know, she's just taken out because of inactivity, which makes sense, right? And since she hasn't fought, you know, in a while, you know, she's finally realizing that, look, okay, if I can't get that title shot, I got to fight for #1. And it might as well be Zhang Weili, right? Because everybody else is filled up. You know, can't be Carla Esparza because she's getting the rematch. Marina's lined up to fight Yan Xiaonan. So I want to get back in there as soon as possible. I don't want to wait. I want to fight. And that makes sense because at this point, you know, if she waits for that title shot, which she really wouldn't deserve even at that point because it would have been over 2 years. If she was to wait till November, December, she really wouldn't deserve it then. You know, she really wouldn't deserve it because there's other fighters like Marina Rodriguez who've been putting in the work. You know, so she understands that, look, I can't wait. I have to, again, renew my status in the strawweight division, especially when I don't have a ranking. You know, I have to go back in there and prove it by taking on the former champion in Zhang Weili, right? So with that, you know, I'm glad that she finally said, okay, I don't want to wait. I just want to fight. You know, forget that title shot, Dana. Let's get in the octagon as soon as I can. And I just kind of find it funny, though, that now she's actually ready to do that when everybody else is booked. You know, when Marina was calling her out, you know, she never really showed no interest in that fight. You know, Marina wanted to fight Joanna, which would have been a very, very good fight. You know, that fight would have been one for the ages. It would have been one for WMMA. So I really wish she would have taken that fight. But now that Yan Xiaonan is lined up to fight Marina, I see Joanna's coming out her shell a little bit more, and she's ready to take on a non-title fight, you know, because even in a recent interview, it wasn't very recent. It was maybe like 3 or 4 months ago. Joanna did an interview, and the name came up. She didn't really show any interest in that fight. You know, I thought that was kind of crazy that she didn't want to take on that fight, you know, because that probably would have lined her up for a title shot. But, you know, she was just like, they just want to live off my name. They just want to eat off my name. I don't want that. But when it came down to possibly fighting Carla Esparza in a rematch for the title shot, she was willing to do that. You know, because whenever they asked her in another interview, like I want to say back in November, she was like, okay, yeah, I'll fight Carla again. You know, Carla, you know, to get that title shot, she would really have to beat me because she never beat me before. You know, why not? Let's do that. So my thoughts on that situation, I know why she didn't want the Marina fight, because that fight would be close. She know that fight would be close. You know, Marina has that style that could possibly give her trouble. You know, the timing versus her speed. You know, that would be very tough because, you know, right now Marina is 3-0 and she's hungry. She's very hungry and she's ready to go. On the other hand, Carla Esparza, that's really the only non-title fight that she wanted because, let's be honest, that's easy work for her. You know, she stopped Carla Esparza, you know, a few years back, but let's be real. You know, that's a style nightmare for Carla Esparza. You know, Joanna has Carla's number when it comes down to it. That's the specific style that Carla Esparza cannot beat. I don't think she can ever beat Joanna. Now, she could, I give her all the credit, but I don't think even at this point with an improved Carla, I don't think she could beat Joanna. And that's why Joanna said, okay, if any non-title fight comes up, I'll take that one, because she knows once she beats her, that'll guarantee that title shot, and she knows there's not much risk there, right? So yeah, I could see what she was doing there. So good thing Carla got her title shot now, because she didn't need to go through Joanna. She already fought 5 fights, so go ahead and give her a shot. But other than that, I wish Joanna would have called out Marina. If she really wanted to get back into the mix, you'd want to fight that 3-0 fighter, get them out of the way, so they wouldn't be in the in the talks of getting the title shot, right? Because you got to think, even if Joanna takes on Zhang Weili, Marina Rodriguez is pretty much lined up to get the title shot. We can safely say that after Carla Esparza, she's pretty much that next one, right? But my thoughts on Joanna taking on Zhang Weili next in a rematch, I think that's just a good fight. I think that fight just makes sense as far as entertainment, because both fighters want to return like mid-2022. Zhang Weili, she's also a fighter that was trying to target Carla Esparza. Both of these fighters are really trying to get back in there with Rose, and they're already 0-2 against Rose. They're so in a rush, right? Carla is she's got a big target on her back, because like Zhang Weili said in her recent interview that, look, I'm going to come back in June, let it be Carla Esparza. So that's not going to happen. So if she wants to come back, it's probably going to be Joanna, and that makes sense. They both need each other at this point. I mean, last time out, they put on a great performance, turned out to be probably fight of the year as far as, for WMMA. Fight of the year for MMA, period. When they fought 2 years ago, it was a very close, controversial fight in some ways. Some people thought Joanna won. Joanna thought she won. She dropped a split decision. So, why not run it back? I think a lot of people wanted to see that fight anyways, right? So, Joanna is in a position to fight Zhang Weili, as soon as they can make the fight. So, yeah, I'll take the fight. But, just going back to what Dana White said about making her an offer, I wonder how true that is. I wonder how true that is about making an offer to fight late November, December of this year. Because in one breath, if he said that, that's kind of contradicting something else he said in a recent interview, where I actually heard it from him, word for word. Where Dana White said in another interview, he said that you can't go on a long layoff and then come back for a title shot, Joanna. He said, that's not how it works. He said Joanna's been eating for a while, but to think she can just come back for a title shot, after such a long layoff, he said, that's not how it works. I mean, pretty much almost word for word, that's how he said it. He said they have a good relationship, but he was like, you've been out that long, that's not how it works. And if he did, but if he did, I mean, that really would be hypocritical of him, because Carla Esparza only wanted to sit out for a few months for a title shot. And he was almost ready to write her off, right? Because Carla Esparza defeated Joanna back in June of 2021, and she just wanted to wait a few months for a title shot. And as y'all know, Rose was going to come back as soon as possible. Like this time, Rose wants to come back in March or April. So in the meantime, that's a good amount of time for build up to the title fight, like another 8 months. So Carla wanted to just sit out 8 months, and Dana White had a problem with that. Because as y'all know, when Dana White was asked about Carla getting the title shot, he was like, oh, we got another option. We got another option, because Carla Esparza wanted to sit out. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea to ever just sit out just because you went on a 5-fight winning streak. He's like, that's not a good idea. But you're willing to give Joanna a title shot late November, December, really? Because that'll make that'll mark like about 2 years and that'll mark about 2 years and 8 months or 2 years and 9 months for her return, if you let her come back straight for a title shot. So I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy that he would make the exception for her just because, she is an exciting fighter, just because she has made a lot of money. But if you think about it, she's not like this big marketing. She's not like this big marketing star, Ronda Rousey when it comes down to it. So I don't know why he would just say, okay, you can wait over 2 years and then I'll give you a title shot. So, that just didn't really make sense when you won't give Carla Esparza that pass to wait like 8 or 9 months when she's already put in the work. 5 fights in a row, 5 fights in a row, right? But anyway, Joanna wants to fight. I think that's the best news that we've all gotten in a while from her. She says she doesn't want to wait and she wants to go ahead and fight. But when you think about it, in some ways, Dana White, he might have been using some reverse psychology on Joanna. You never know, right? He might have been using some reverse psychology on Joanna, offering her the title shot so late in the year to the point where she would say, that's too far out. I want to fight sooner. And if I can't get the title shot, well, I'll fight the next best thing, which is Zhang Weili, right? So, yeah, my final thoughts on the whole situation about Dana White offering her the title shot. I don't know if that's true or not. But like I said, if he did and he meant it, then, that is pretty much contradicting, how he feels about fighters sitting out. That's very contradictory. That's very contradictory for him to do that, especially, again, whenever Carla wants to sit out for just a few more months to get her title shot and giving her such a hard time. That's wrong. That's just straight up wrong. But the other side of me believes that was reverse psychology. To push out the title shot this far, to put it this far out of reach for Joanna when she knows she's been out for so long, to make her have to get in there and fight a title eliminator again. But then again, man, this is another video, something I'll talk about in another video. Like, do you really want to see the winner of Joanna versus Zhang Weili 2 in a rematch or rubber match against Rose Namajunas at this point? I don't think so, really, right? My early thoughts, I really wouldn't want to see that right now, because that would just be like them fighting each other, then going right back in there with the fighter that beat them. They're 0-2. Rose has 4 wins over them. So do we really want to see that as a title eliminator, especially when you have Marina lined up to fight Yan Xiaonan, right? I'd rather see Marina. Well, I'd rather see if Marina can beat Yan Xiaonan. I believe she can. If she can beat her, I'd rather see her go in there and get that title shot next. So I can't really see that being lined up for the title. I can't really see that as the title eliminator. So, yeah, man, I hope that Marina, she can go in there, grind it out, get it, and, make that big call out for Rose, because she's going to have to do it, because you got Joanna and Zhang Weili over here fighting their rematch pretty soon. And if they do, they're going to be screaming Rose's name. So I hope that Marina, she can go in there, do the work that she needs to do. And I hope she's vocal about it. I really hope that she's vocal about it. And we'll talk about that in another video, guys. But let me know about this situation here. Do y'all think it was reverse psychology of Dana White? Let me know, guys. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.